Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio, where we are here to nourish our souls. I am Norah, the host of this program, Thoughts by Joanna Angelis, and this beautiful, beautiful book. Friends, we keep getting engaged in the one or two sentences every week. Joanna is really putting us to this beautiful course, right? We're being immersed in the Gospels, in Jesus, and the good news, and hope, and love, and peace, and just all these beautiful thoughts that we can utilize so that we can heal, right? In beautiful divine love. So let us get to our lesson today. So it says here, Jesus' Calvary, marked by suffering, has become the eve of the bright dawning of his glorious resurrection. Wow. So when we look at Jesus' Calvary, we notice how it is capitalized because it could be referring to Golgotha, which was actually, it's a shaped hill in ancient Jerusalem that is thought to believe that's where Jesus' crucifixion happens, and this is in the four Gospels. And so, of course, when we think of, Calvary as as the location of Jesus' crucifixion, we automatically make a connection, suffering, right? We look at Matthew chapter 27, verses 32 to 44, friends. And sure enough, if we look, this time was not easy, right? For example, we have when the soldiers offered wine to drink mixed with gall, but Jesus refuses that, right? And they think that that has to do to help with the pain. But yeah, Jesus was like, no. He was also mocked. He had that little plaque on top of the cross that says, "This is Jesus, the King of Jews." And then we know at one point Jesus does ask, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And then finally Jesus cried out again in a loud voice, and he gives his spirit. And when this happens, the earth shakes, rocks split, and then finally people were saying, surely he was the Son of God. But that's not the end of the story, right, friends? We know in the Bible that Jesus comes back, right? And this is what Joanna is trying to understand, is the whole story of this is not the Calvary, it's not the suffering, but it's this part of the story, the eve of the bright dawning of his glorious resurrection, right? And it was a process, friends, even for us to find out in this story. First, the angels appeared to the women and said, he's not here, right? He's no longer in the tomb, he has risen. Go and tell the disciples. So the women hurriedly away. They were afraid, the Bible describes, but also there was joy as they were going to tell the disciples. And then suddenly Jesus meets them and says, greetings, do not be afraid. What a message when we can imagine, right? And we're not ready for such a light. But even in that case, Jesus was really taking care of this whole story of telling the disciples and the women, with his energy, because it was a lot to intake. But even then, in this book, friends, No Roteiro de Jesus, which is like in Jesus' script, there is actually still that disbelief, like, really? And then let's see who Jacob represents. Jacob, the son of Beersheba, began to interrogate Simon Peter, and this is a rough translation, and it says, is it true that Jesus the Nazarene was resurrected? And then Peter confirms, it's true. So who testified? We who saw him several times after death. Well, can you prove it? And then Peter wisely says, yes, with our personal dignity in the affirmation of what we witnessed. Well, that's not enough, said Jacob rudely. We demand that the risen one appears to us, right? So Peter smiles and replied, the inferior cannot determine the superior. We are simple subordinates of the master, of the service of his infinite goodness. And still Jacob, but can they prove the phenomena of resurrection? And then Peter replies, faith, trust, and certainty that are inalienable attributes of the soul, we are terrestrial workers and far from reaching the friendliness of the angels. Well, then, what resources do you suggest, you miserable fisherman? Look what you have created to the spirit of the people here. Simon Peter responds, I only know one resource. May you die as the Master died and go look for him in the other world and listen to his explanations. I don't know if you have enough spiritual dignity to deserve this divine encounter, but no doubt it's the only way I can suggest. And then the story, friend, says that Peter excused himself because he was going to continue to assist. So sometimes, friends, we know that we don't stay in the Calvary. We know this beautiful story of resurrection, of light, of hope, and yet we still sometimes doubt like Jacob. And yet Simon, in this beautiful book and in this dialogue, reminds us that it's inside of us, and it is up to us, right, to go and look for him, not have this very self-entitled attitude in life that I deserve everything, and then prove it to me. And if nothing works my way, then, none of this exists. Jesus doesn't exist, God, the story, nothing. We're so stuck sometimes in that. But when we feel with our heart, right, when we go out there and we put ourselves and frame ourselves in humbleness and faith, as Simon says, right, in that certainty, then we simply know that love knows. Because when love knows, friends, it will rise above. So Jesus invites us today to this beautiful story that even though things may be difficult and it's a little tight and why is this happening to me now? Just remember, hold on a little more because love knows. Friends, what a beautiful message by Joanna de Angelis, and thanking the mentors. Let us grab the guitar to sing a little something. So let us sing Amazing Grace, friends. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. All right, dear friends. So let us not forget this beautiful message as children of God, as as team players and Jesus' team. Love knows and everything's taken care of. And let us use this beautiful light, friends, to continue healing. Thank you so much, dear friends, for always tuning in to Kardec Radio. Don't forget, friends, you are loved. And see you next week, same place and time. And please tune in to other programs. Bye-bye. God bless.